Yo, it's definitely the Cloud Chaser TV, man. We back up in this thing again. You dig? Hey, man, we got some special guests on the in the building, man, and definitely want to thank them for coming through the platform. We got a few topics we're gonna talk about. We also got the legendary Prince from Supreme Team up here, so we're gonna ask him some questions as well. You know, get some updates. A lot of people haven't really heard much from him since the release. We definitely seen videos and pictures of that big party that he threw. Um, but we also got Tommy Walker in the building. Tommy Walker's been on the platform a few different times, and he's going to shed light on the YNW Melly case for us, as well as give us updates on his app, that you can find throughout Chat GPT. And we'll give you that information on the link and everything in just a second. We also got Rich Dollars in the building from Making of the Man TV. I think he just tapped out, but he'll be back. We got Rich Dollars from Making of the Man TV. Cool platform. Definitely search that on YouTube. You'll be able to get some of that information. Hold on. Let me see. Oh yeah, definitely. And Tommy definitely just came from my expert opinion. That was dope. That was dope. I seen some of it. I still haven't watched it all just yet, but I'm getting through it. I think when I go back to work, I'll be able to finish it. And yeah, man. Like so, everybody. We can start with you, Tommy, just to let them know exactly where they can follow you. Then we'll go to Prince.
Okay, well, my name is Tommy Walker, formerly a federal inmate. After serving 25 years, I'm a free man now. I run a paralegal business called Second Chance for Real. That's what the website is up under a second chance for that's the number four and not the word for real. And I also have another business that I'm starting with Prince, and I can let Prince give you a little bit more detail on that when he come on. We're trying to open up a halfway house and do things for the community and get some places ready, jobs ready for people coming home from jail after serving all of these years of imprisonment. Um, I also have a app that I designed that we'll talk about a little bit later on that I call it Paralegal Pal because it's designed to help people and assist people and educate people on law and what's going on in the world, what's happening in the news, what's happening in their business life and in their personal life. It helps them make decisions in critical times where you might need that decision. And it's an app that's designed that you can download on your phone so that 90% of us have our phone with us most of the time, so that if you stuck in a situation, like for example, if you get pulled over by the police in a car, you can ask a quick question. You might be in a business meeting and you don't know what's going on. You could just ask for 2 minutes break and get on the app and ask the app some legal questions or some business mind questions or some contract questions. It can help you figure out what's best for you in that particular time and situation, and so on.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That's dope, and we definitely gonna shed light on that. And Prince, if you can let them know like where they can find you at. Um,
Yeah.
yep.
Hey, go ahead, my man.
I'll go ahead. I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, ain't no question, man. Well, like Tommy said, man, we got this thing called Lines for New Beginnings, which is we trying to start a halfway house. We trying to get the proper funding for it. We want to help people coming out of prison, and that's what we on. And I want to get that out the way. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that that paralegal joint that Tommy's trying to come out with, it's a nice app. It'll assist people, not even just people coming out of prison, but anybody looking that have any issues related to cases for their families and stuff like that. It'll be easy for them to be able to navigate the system a little better. And as far as me, I got a documentary coming out called The Supreme Truth on October 15th. Gonna be on Vimeo. And it's like that. It relates to my uncle's case. It talks a little bit about the past and the present and his fight for justice. And it's very powerful. There's a lot of people on that joint. And the trailer is actually, you can see the full trailer for The Supreme Truth on www.princemillernyc.com. That's my website. You can find me on that website. And also that website is mentioned on my Instagram as well. And so I'm doing a lot of things. I'm trying to help the community, trying to help myself. Been out for a year and 7 days to the date, and trying to stay positive and stay flowing and in the mix. And I also got a book coming out. The book is called From the Cradle to the Grave: The Chronicles of the Criminalized Class. And it's very interesting. It speaks about a lot of things that's been happening in the community from the past to the present. So it's going to be interesting. It's a lot of stuff going on. These last 4 months of the year going to be like that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That's dope, bro. So, you know, like a lot of people haven't really heard from you, and again, we thank you for coming on the platform. But you doing all that time, like exactly how much time did you end up doing?
Well, I did 34 years and 6 months. I was locked up March 21st, 1990. I got out September 24th, 2024. And freedom has been great, and man, and listen, this is the best thing that could have happened to me, man. I always knew I would eventually get out, and I fought that way. I did my time that way. I tried to be an example to others to do their time, to think about the future, no matter how much time they had. And now I'm out here, and I want to make sure that I live a certain way, man, and show people, man, that just because you uh, make a mistake in the past, or just because you fall down, you can pick yourself back up, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about positive energy for real.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And did you end up giving back a life sentence, or you had 34 years to do?
No, I had 7 life sentences actually, and I gave back one on appeal, and then I gave back the other 6 under the First Step Act. The judge, he granted my motion and whatnot, and a couple of people helped me with that. People wrote letters to support me. Um, uh, Tommy actually had me speaking to children in schools, and he helped me out, and Tommy had all, he did a lot with the case to help me out, and so did other people that wrote letters, including one of the members of the Alliance for New Beginnings, Tyrana Carter. She also helped out. So it's a lot. I got to thank a lot of people that came through, and it was the letters that helped the judge show the judge that the community supported my release. So it turned out to be a beautiful thing. You know.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. And in situations like that, we hear about it in 34 years, and you didn't never give up. Like how did that go about? Like far as just keeping that same energy and day by day, knowing like, hey, one day I do feel like I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm gonna tell you, man, the prison world, being in prison is completely different than society. People don't understand how the really stark difference it is. I mean, people, you know about it, you think about it, you understand, you like freedoms in there, like different than you would out here. But it's even worse than it's so many elements that can prevent you from getting out. I got a co-defendant, for instance. He was in USP Lewisburg, and he got caught up in um, a race riot, and because he got caught up in the race riot between Muslims and Aryan Brotherhood, he ended up catching uh, a murder case in prison. You know what I'm saying? In self-defense, really. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he gets convicted by the prison, and so because of that conviction by the prison, when he put his papers in to get out, unlike me, he was denied. And so he had a second chance, but the point is he was denied. And so it's easy to get caught up. You're trying to fight your case in there, but then there's elements in there of people who ain't thinking about getting out. And so you have to navigate, and you gotta think for others, because you can end up with more time and possibly use the opportunity to get out. So while you're navigating trying to come home, you gotta think about the knuckleheads or the individuals who don't care about coming home, who might have 600 years or life sentences like I did, but they don't care because they ain't fighting and they don't have a way out. And so they feel like they don't have a way out. And so you got to navigate. It's a serious situation. Then you got the officers who may or may not want you out. You know what I'm saying? Depending on their aspect on how they was raised. That's a tough world when it comes to trying to stay focused on coming home to your family, your freedom, your loved ones, and stuff like that. It's not easy, man, because you got to be tough, but you also got to be smart. You know what I mean? And every place I went while I was in prison, I ran almost every yard I went to. And the only reason why, not because I raised my hand to do that, it was because it was the only way for me to make sure that me and the people around me who wanted to go home, can focus on going home. So we had to pay attention to our surroundings. So I would teach all of them. I would have people in every unit, and we would all have the same focus on getting home. And we would make sure that no knuckleheads or nobody else who was on some other type of time besides trying to go home would get in our way. And if it took us getting them out the way, then that's what had to be done. If you ain't trying to go home and you trying to keep other people in prison by doing knucklehead stuff, then you don't even need to be around me. That was our thought pattern.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's powerful right there. That's powerful. And I know you said that you had a lot of people from the community write you letters and everything to try to help assist getting you out. How was the family dynamic? Did they still believe that they stay on the path of like, yeah, you're gonna come home one day? Did they give you that encouragement as
Well,
well? Like,
I always, when I spoke to my family, those I cared about, I always made them feel hope. I didn't never want them to lose hope. As long as you have faith, you should never lose hope. You know what I'm saying? So I always spoke to them that way. And so even if they felt differently, they never showed it. And when it was time for them to write letters, they all wrote them. And that's another thing. I gotta thank Nas, because Nas wrote a letter for me as well. You know what I'm saying? And so,
wow.
like I said, there's just so many people wrote letters for me, of all business people, regular people, prisoners in jail who witnessed me trying to help them get out. Um, Teachers, I had all kind of letters of support. And when the judge finally released me, he actually said, "Man, I'm releasing a law-abiding citizen." So, he actually believed in what he what I showed him. Because I'm all about positivity, man. I'm trying to do the right thing. So while I was in there, that's what I was about, and that's what I'm trying to do now. Now, mind you, my change was self. You know what I'm saying? The place itself didn't do anything to help me change. It was me reflecting on my past and how I got there that made me want to change. And then the fact that, man, my daughter was 8 years old when I went to prison. So I wanted to make sure that that I did everything I can do to at least make it home to her and whatnot. I never walked that yard believing I would stay there for the rest of my life. And then there were other people around me like Guy Fisher, William Underwood, Pete Monsantos. All of them had life sentences and went home before me. Then it was Sunyata, a BLA member. He encouraged me to pay attention to my surroundings and to focus on always trying to get home and whatnot. His Sunyati's co-defendant was Shala Shakur, and recently
Hmm.
she passed away in Cuba. Understanding this, you know what I'm saying? So, but he was a positive example for us in prison, and he always encouraged us and gave us knowledge, not education, but knowledge. You know what I mean? And he would teach us things that we needed to know and make us understand how detrimental our life is and how we need to change the trajectory and change our thought pattern so that when we get out, we stay out.
Oh, that's for sure. Did you want to chime in there, Rich? Or not yet? You can hear me? Oh yeah, but yeah, and I gotta go
Can I
ahead.
chime in on that?
Yep.
Listen, one of the things I could say about the modest brother right there, Prince, I've been with him the last couple of years talking to him. Okay. He's one of the few brothers that really, truly, truly changed and trying to do positive things. As you can see already, he hasn't even been out a full two years or so. And he's already trying to put a halfway house together, trying to do a documentary movie to educate people as to what's going on. The Supreme Truth is an excellent movie. I would say watch it. I got a chance to see the premieres. It's an educational movie that educates you on how the system is and how the system kind of take advantage of us or put us in a position where we really can't fight ourselves. Supreme has shown, and not Supreme, I'm sorry, but Prince has shown that people like him with 7 life sentences, okay, can come out and still be positive and still do positive things and so on. So when you giving all of these brothers these mandatory life sentences, 50 years, 100 years, 20 years, how much time is enough for us to prove what we can do? How much time is enough for us to show that we have rehabilitated and that we've changed? My hats go off to you, brother, and I salute you, man. Keep on the right track, man. And
Yeah,
it's
and
an honor. It's an honor for me to be tied up in a business with you, Ty, and starting a halfway house, doing something positive for the community, because we can continue to move our life. You could continue to move your life. You could be continuing to just focus on supporting your movies and so on, but instead you're still trying to do positive things to and for the community.
I appreciate that, Tommy. But you know,
Right.
you also was one of those standout individuals in the prisons you were in, because you was helping a lot of people get out, man. And you know, me and you know that law very well. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, and people, I'm telling you, it's not as easy as people think giving back that kind of time. So I appreciate it. And actually, I appreciate this platform too, because you know they let you come on here and speak about the important matters and whatnot. So it's a pleasure to be on here and a pleasure to be talking to all of you men, and I appreciate it.
Oh, no doubt, man. We appreciate you guys, man, for real. What y'all doing for the community about far as what we need to continue, and hopefully people that watch this can assist in their neighborhood or even reach out to Tommy. The website is up there, and just get involved, you know. And hey, Rich Dollars, you got a question? Yeah, I think something wrong with Rich Green. But yeah, so I want to get into just a few more questions with you, Prince, and you know, I know your time probably limited, but
Nah, go
when it
right ahead, man.
okay, so you know, some of, like, I noticed that you talked about, you know, speaking to the youth, whatever, when you were locked up. Was it any other like programs that you got involved with, you know, prior to your release? If you can
Yeah,
speak on them
yeah,
programs.
yeah. I was able to go into a program that really was for people who was 2 years and 2 years and short to go home. They let me go in I had life, like I told you, 6 life sentences, 7 really, but I gave back 1. But at that time I had 6, and they let me get into this program that I really wasn't supposed to be in, but they let me be a mentor. So I came right in as a mentor because of they seen how I was doing in the prisons that I went to. So I came in as a mentor, helped the class, and I would teach people in the class about survival mechanisms in prison. But the way I taught was different than a lot of other people. You know what I'm saying? I told people, I said, listen, listen, I ain't gonna stand here and try to tell you to change. You gotta want to do that on your own. And when I say change, I ain't talking about coming out and the next thing you know, you're a whole new person, because you're gonna be who you are. But to change your thought pattern about survival, about understanding that prison is actually um, institutionalized slavery. Although we place ourselves in the position to be in there, it's still, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so I would show them, I would break it down to them, and I would show them from the beginning of time, the minute we set foot on this continent, how we came on this continent, and our ancestors, and I would make them understand: do you really want to end your life with your legacy being that you was a prisoner for the rest of your life, incarcerated? You know what I mean? And is that really what you want to teach your kids or your parents? Or is that what you want to show people, that this is your ending? So I said, everybody got a story and everybody got an ending to that story. Do you really want to end up being, hey, you die in prison and your whole life was, I was a prisoner. I was in the street. I committed crimes. I came to jail and I died in prison. I would make them look at that stark reality. And then every last person raised their hand and said, yo, I don't want that to be me. And they started thinking seriously about their futures. That's how you make change. You got to put it in somebody's face. Is this what you want to be? And then they'll answer their own questions. Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You got to drink when it's hungry. You know what I'm saying? It's thirsty, rather. So my thing is, I don't force nothing down nobody's throat. Nowadays, people don't even listen to the youngsters in the street to find out what's the problem and what's bothering them. What they want to do is think for them, instead of hearing them out first and then letting them tell you what the problem is. So then you can give them the antidote to try to help them fix the mentality that they might have to make them look at something in a certain way. So I don't throw things down people's throat. I don't force things on people. I let them look at the reality. I use myself as a guide, and then I say, man, listen, now what do you want to do? Because I know what I want to do, you know.
Hey Prince, this Rich Dollars here. With a lot of young men out there searching for identity, and based off of everything you went through in your life, Could you explain when was your defining moment that you knew that you had to turn it around?
Well, I couldn't say the exact time, but I can tell you this: when I first went in prison, um, I was, I was cutting up because number one, I was, I was, I was, I was really, uh, when I got convicted, and I thought about being away from my family, and thought about that. At that time, I said, "Damn, man, my parents will they even be alive when I get back out, or if I fight to get out?" So I was I felt I was kind of mean while I was in prison. And everybody who I felt, anybody, I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Anybody who was a snitch and all that stuff, man, I was blowing them jokers up and getting them off
You
the
was on
yard,
that, huh?
man. I was on that hard. I was a brute when it come to that stuff. I ain't like nothing hot. So nothing, and so what happened with me was it took me a little time to adjust to that fact that, yo, you ain't life ain't over for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Then I ran into people like God Fisher. I ran into people like Sundiata Coley. I ran into people like Pete Monsantos. Ran into people like William Underwood. I ran into these people, and then they were telling me, Prince, man, yo, be an example to these dudes, because you in that bracket where you can they'll talk to you before they talk to me. You know what I'm saying? And you had the reputation because you the real thing, and you younger than we are. Reach out,
Right.
show them that you're trying to do something better, and I listened to them, and I thank them for that. And so I kind of changed up, and I stopped worrying about trying to avenge things. Because I ain't gonna lie, but you had people like Preacher who came in there. I don't know if you heard of him. He's from Harlem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of him.
Right. He came to the jail we was in, and while other people were allow him to run on their compounds, I wasn't allowed it because he not only was he a informant, a vicious rat. He said one thing, did another, but you know, the things that he allegedly was accused of, and I knew certain people that he affected, what I'm saying, in a certain way. And so he couldn't walk in the same path. Me or him, one of us had to leave. And so we had a violent knife fight on the yard. And he ended up having to be the one to leave, and I stayed. So,
Hey,
but that being said, I got away from the question you asked, but I think it was around the time of can't say exactly the year or none of that stuff, but I know that it changed after I started meeting those kind of individuals.
let me ask you another question since we got on that, and that's a big thing that's going on. What other people's business is, what their paperwork is. When did it become not about what somebody else's business was, and when did it become about going home? Because you just discussed about having a vicious knife fight. When did it become about not punishing other people for their sins?
Uh, Look, I'm gonna tell you, man, you can end up in prison. You can catch a body so easily, or you can be a body easily. And if you really trying to go home, man, you have to start thinking about yourself. So it got to the point where I had to fall back, man, from the things going on the compound. And I started staying in my cell more, reading more books, studying, writing up screenplays. I learned how to do that from Guy Fisher. And I started focusing on my plans rather, to get home and then, get the Supreme Team story told, and my life story told. And so I just started thinking different, man, because after a while, man, that stuff in prison play out. The majority of people in prison are most of them, I hate to say it, whether they black, white, Spanish, Hispanic, are poor. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it
Yeah.
really is. It's really uh, a bunch of poor people in prison, and with nothing to do and nowhere to go. And so um, you start looking around. I think when Sundiata Cody started talking to me, he woke me up viciously about
Right.
prison, and what it was really, what's it for? And he explained certain things to me. So I changed when I got around him. I did a about face, and I stopped worrying about certain things, and I focused on myself, man, and growing myself, and and trying to get out of prison, man, because I didn't want to. I knew I wasn't gonna stay there for the rest of my
You,
life,
you didn't
man.
want to die there. Now, if
Yeah,
you could be the voice of the brothers who ain't getting the opportunity to come home, and some of those brothers who possibly would have had an opportunity had they cooperated. I mean, we done got to where the game is, where people is making these decisions. Could you speak to the voice of those voiceless individuals who don't get a chance to come home?
yeah. Well, the individuals in prison that may not have a chance to come home, man, you still got an obligation. You're still part of society. You just got to be a part of society of the individuals coming home. You try to teach them, not to follow in your footsteps. Try to make other people, there's people coming home from prison, and some may end up going back. The ones who in there for the rest of their life can teach the ones who might be coming out but borderline. They find another way, man, to do something different with their life. Because trust me, nobody wants to be in prison for the rest of their life. I don't see nobody raising their hands. Nobody would raise their hand and say, "Hey, I want to be in prison for the rest of my life." And so that is a world I'm not talking about no violence. I ain't talking about none of that stuff. I'm talking about going in your cell every night, getting in that bunk, whether you by yourself, because usually it's two people in the cell, you and your cellie. Most of the time I had a single cell. You know what I'm saying? But going in that bunk every night and living with the fact that you in the graveyard, because that's what it is. When you got a life sentence or you ain't never coming home or you got 300 years, you basically in a graveyard, living dead in a cell. And if you can think of it that way, then you understand what that place is all about. So the ones who stuck like that, supposed to teach those going home, don't come back, don't make the mistakes I made. Because first of all, everybody ain't standing up to that kind of time.
No
Like
question.
you put that kind of time, and Tommy will tell you, you put that kind of time up in front of somebody, most dudes are telling a heartbeat. To ask somebody to do to expect somebody to want to do a life sentence, 300 years, 100 years, that's not nothing to play with. To be in prison and think or know that you ain't never coming home. That's why I would never let myself think in my mind that I was never coming home, and I would never let my parents or my siblings or anybody that loved me think that I was never coming home. And I mean that, because if you start thinking that way, you might never even fight to get home. So when you ask me a question about the people who ain't coming home, I don't really want to think that nobody can't make it home. I want to expect that people get clemency, people get compassionate release, people get released because they're old age, because their health is failing. It's a lot of ways to get out of prison, and I don't want nobody to think that they can't get out. But I do understand the question. You know what I mean? For those who might feel that they don't have a good shot at getting home, get to those programs and teach the ones who coming home not to come back. That's what I would tell them.
No, for sure. And so like we're gonna talk about your release a little bit. So now you get out of prison, you've been in prison for 34 years. I know a lot has changed. What was the first noticeable things that you noticed that changed like big time?
Man, you can start a car with the push of a button. The checkout count in the stores. Nobody
Uh
helps you no more. We used to go to stores back in the days, even expensive stores, and they be quick to want to help you spend your money. They come to you fast. You need any help? Now you go into a store, don't nobody come help you, man. Everything's self-service for the most part. And I also noticed, man, that the neighborhoods have changed dramatically. All the neighborhoods is different races more so than anything else. And because it's different races, the community aspect has changed a little, because people don't want to mess with nobody but they own, but they living in environments that are interracial, like basically different races. And yeah, adversity, different adversities. But that nobody's like back in the days, for instance, Baisley Projects,
mhm.
which was the hood, Baisley Projects and the co-ops, everybody knew everybody, and it was majority black and Puerto Rican. And guess what? Really black, because only a couple of Puerto Rican families. But everybody knew everybody, but it was a lot of love. Now you got all kind of different nationalities, but the love ain't there like that. I mentioned, I see that. Also, I noticed that a lot of the blacks don't really own anything around their neighborhoods, but it's a lot of stores owned by others, right? And that it was sad to see that all the lots that I saw that we should have bought back in the days got buildings all around them. You know, I had 3 buildings and a house when I left, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
everything was taken, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm looking around the community and I don't see much change other than the fact that the lots got buildings on it, different things. But I still see the poverty around that area when I go around there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, people, you got more community organizations trying to help. You know, you got different life camp, you got different organizations trying to help. I'm involved with another organization beside Lines for New Beginnings with Tommy and Tyranna Carter and another young lady. I'm involved in Second Chance University, where you know we go different places and speak to people. You know what I'm saying? And right now they're doing a tour in upstate New York, Second Chance University, and there's a group of guys been in prison before. They go into the prison and they teach people how to deal with their time and to come out and to be successful. You know, and whatnot.
Oh, for sure. And if you can, I know you was talking about earlier about the it was the halfway house, right?
Yeah, the halfway house, me, Tommy, and 2 other
Right.
individuals.
So if you can let us know, tell me like, tell us like how did that end up coming about? Like you think that it was a need or how did that come about?
Like, I'm gonna tell you, we don't have the halfway house yet, but we working on funding because
Mm-hmm.
that's how we doing it. And but how it came about was I was incarcerated, and I always had a plan when I came home to open halfway houses everywhere in different states. I mean, state of the art halfway houses where the people who want to hire people come to the halfway house. I was gonna have computer systems in there, the whole thing, and that was my plans. I actually was drawing up plans for it. And one day I spoke to someone I spoke to, I think it was Tarana Carter, because she was writing letters for me and and whatnot, and I spoke to her about it. Now, what happened was I got caught up in doing other things with my life. And what happened was when I came out, she put together an organization to start the process. And when she did that, I suggested to her, I said, why don't you speak to Tommy Walker? Because he would be a good fit for that. And she did, and he got involved. Then someone that she had involved with her had prior engagements and didn't want to be involved, so I got involved. And then we added one more person to it, and so it's us doing that. But we still trying to get the funding together for it and make sure that we can do it. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. It's a long process. Um, and but it's gonna be all right, you know. But it's gonna be we get the funding and it gets up, it'll be good. But I'm involved in a lot of different things, and so just like Tommy got his app going. That is gonna be like that. People need to really look into it. You know, don't wait for it to boom. People need to look into it because it's gonna be something like no other. You know what I mean? You'll be able to go get things and find things and help your family and all kind of stuff, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm involved in a lot of things, but definitely love the movies and the documentaries. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting my stuff together. I'm gonna get the Supreme Team series going, and then you know, I'm gonna be back on your podcast, letting you know that things are up and running. But right now, you can go, like I told you, you can go to my website www.princemillernyc.com, and you can see the whole trailer to the Supreme Truth. And you can also, there's another place where you can, if you've never seen the Supreme Team documentary that Nas and us did, you can go there and you can go right into Paramount Plus and Paramount to Action Prime, I think, to actually pull that up as well, you know.
Oh, for
So
sure. And
last thing, homie,
mhm.
and you can ask any more questions you want. I got that book coming out. I mean, I got 2 books coming out. One right now, another one in the next month or two. And yeah, I'll come back on the podcast and tell you about that too.
Oh, for sure. Sound like a plan. Sound like a plan to me. And just like you just spoke on the one that Nas had produced, the Supreme Team, the documentary that's on
Right.
Paramount. How did that come about? Did you always have a relationship from way back then, or over the years y'all kind of built a relationship and a rapport?
Well, I used to have. I don't know if you know, and I ain't, this ain't to brag about anything, but I had places all over Queens, right? And
I heard.
I was in Queensbridge, and so, of course, people know you from the neighborhood because they know you was in there. You know what I'm saying? So I was in there, and so, what I like about Nas, he's always type person. I mean, even his rap, even when he raps, man, you can feel the rhythm of his raps and the words, and the old words always touch me. But I was in there, and we was preparing to put together something, and my co-defendant and them, and a couple other people that came to see me, Don Sikorsky and them, my co-defendant Teddy Waverly Coleman. I told them, let's go holler and see if Nas would be interested in being a part of the documentary. So they put me on the phone with him. We got on the phone, we kicked it. I remember my first conversation talking to Nas, man. You know what I'm saying? He called me his legend. I said, you legendary though. I said, man, you can go to South Africa, people will know you. If I go, they won't even know me. So there's a difference between a legend and being legendary. I said, you legendary. And then we kicked it off from there, and it was a beautiful relationship, man. He's been solid with me, and I appreciate his help with the letter and helping me come home. And he's a good man, man. I respect him, man. I try to learn. A lot of times, you think you get a certain age, you think you can't learn from people younger than you, but you can. You know what I'm saying? I learned from him. I learned from other people in my life, different people that I learned from, and that's just how life is, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like being. I came home after 34 years, 34 and a half years, and then like being reborn again. And so I'm learning things all over again that I missed, and whatnot. So, there's a lot of other people that I congratulate all the youngsters in that rap game that made it and that didn't have to go through the strides and trials and tribulations that I did. And I'm glad that they did, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to see them. I don't want to see people having to, struggle hard and to make it, man. And I'm just glad a lot of them were able to. They were able to. And people thought that hip hop was gonna die. I remember when hip hop was first born from the house parties and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I said, boy, it's gonna take over. It sure did. People never believed it. And yo, every time I look at the awards, the different award shows, I smile when I think about where hip hop is at, right? And I congratulate
Hmm.
all them youngsters and everybody the pioneers of it back in the days, the ones who at the time when it
But
wasn't hip,
you was a
when
part of it too, though.
ain't no question. But
We
the thing
watched a
is,
lot of them videos.
yeah. Hey,
Now
look,
we're
let
seeing
me
a
tell you
lot of
something.
them good videos of y'all popping in on them stages with bottles and things. We
Yeah.
talk
Hey,
about a
look,
lot of the lows. Can you talk about some of them highs?
that's right. And let me tell you, those were moments when they weren't known, but we were, and they got known. And so it's funny how things reverse. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I tell you I'm proud of them. When I smile, I love hip hop, man. I love it, man. And I'm proud. I'm proud of them pioneers back in the day. I'm proud of everybody that kept that alive. They helped when we was in prison. We used to watch all the shows, man, related to the music, man, and it kept us
Did it
going,
keep you
man. You know what I'm
going?
saying? It kept us going, man. We would watch that joint on TV, different joints on TV, and we would be excited, man, and watching it and whatnot. It was a beautiful thing, man. And the reason why I say that, being away so long, you count those every time you see one. You count them. You count them as the weeks go on, and you look every week. You look for every day. You look for it on certain things. But you got to be reminiscing, man. That's why I'm getting tongue tied, man.
Now the
Smiling,
thing
thinking.
is, bruh, you came back home after so long, but you sound so vibrant, like you never missed a beat.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, let me tell you something. Ain't that many people like me and Tommy and us that can even sound like this, man. That prison stuff affect you, man. So if you make it out and you can speak a sentence, man, you fortunate if you know that you survived and whatnot. And a lot of
That's a
people didn't,
testament to the
man.
strength of your mind.
Yeah, yeah, ain't no question. And I appreciate you saying that too, bro, for real. Yeah,
No question. No question. Salute. I appreciate you
yeah,
even giving me the chance to ask a legend like you some questions, bro.
yeah. Okay. Hey, look, Tommy, man, y'all, if y'all ain't got nothing else to ask me, I'm gonna let y'all go so y'all can talk. You know, and Tommy, thank you for you know inviting me with the brothers here. I'll come back anytime y'all want, man. You can ask more detailed and deeper questions if you want. I'll get into anything you want to get into after the day come out or whatever, man. You let me know, man. All right.
I
All right.
appreciate that, man.
All right, bro.
Appreciate
Salute.
that. Blessings, brother.
All right,
Thank you.
bro. Peace. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. All right, Tommy. All right, man. All right,
Okay.
y'all.
Blessings.
Peace,
Thank
brother.
you. Peace. Peace.
Looking, Big Chuck.
Tommy, salute, bro. No problem, no problem.
Mhm.
Tommy, I want to
Yes,
get
sir.
into
Salute, Tommy.
so I want to get into the app real quick. Just to break down the app again. So a lot of people, it's just not used for a person that's, it like explaining like how it could be used on a day to day. Somebody getting pulled over, and let's just say that they have suspended license. You can X this app like, hey, what do I do in this situation? What are some of my rights? Right?
Right. That's correct, bro. Like I said, you can ask it a lot of different things. What I did was I intertwined it and I took it from a knowledge of a person like Prince and myself and the brothers that I was helping out in jail, because I keep in contact with a lot of them. I keep in contact with a lot of people that's in jail now on high profile cases. And I listen to them as far as the needs, what's available, what's not available. Like, for example, when I first got out, I realized that I was starting to be a burden on people because I was asking so many questions. Where's this at? How do I do that? How do I do this? How do I do that? And so when I designed the app, and this is why it's called Paralegal Pal, it's called Paralegal. The paralegal component goes with my business because my business is a paralegal business, but it's called Pal because I designed it as a pal so that I would have auto.
What? Was it me?
No, I think we lost him on the audio side right there. So what is this paralegal pal, Chuck? What is it? Readily information that you could pull up at the drop of a dime if you get in a situation with the police?
Yes. Tell me, let me see. Go to your settings and then look at your audio, that little wheel at the bottom of the screen, and then go to your audio and see if it's connected to like that I think that webcam camera or something. Should be that little wheel at the bottom, and then go to audio, say mic. See something. Sometimes just happen. It's no big deal though.
Or maybe just go out and come back in.
Yeah. Or go out and come back in. Yep. Oh, dope content, man. Salute to Reds, man.
Yeah, salute,
Uh,
salute, Rez. Didn't get a chance to ask that question. He got out of there, but that was awesome right there, man. That was legendary.
oh, for sure. They're gonna tell me right there. See if it's back. If not, you gotta probably go. Yo, Tommy? Nah. You can hear him on your end, Rich?
I can't hear it, brother. He's
Let me see.
unmuted too.
Yeah, I see he's unmuted. Let me go to his mic settings. Just mic. Yeah.
I
Hey,
apologize.
Reg, you might have to send him the like we got to do before, and send him the link to if he still got the app Clubhouse and pull the audio from there.
It's crazy.
Oh, hold on, he might be in on this phone.
Um,
Tommy?
yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you. Yup, we can hear you on this one.
are you in? I'm in on the
Yep.
phone.
Yeah, you in on the phone.
Okay.
Bro, it was doing the same thing to me, bro. That's why I had to keep coming out, coming in. Just platform's unstable.
Oh yeah, you be talking about that StreamYard, don't you, Rich?
Yeah, it's unstable platform.
Okay.
But yeah. So Rich, you had a question for him, like you said, that's rarely information that's rarely available.
Right.
No, see, Rich, what I tried to do, brother, and again, before I forget, man, thank you for the things that you said about Prince and guys that's incarcerated. I'm really positive, and I thought that you asked some very intelligent questions, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that.
All right. I tried to design the app so that it's educational. You follow what I'm saying? Like even in a business, like I was just in the middle of a new contract that I didn't know how to prepare. So I went into the app and I said, well, listen, somebody wants a percentage of the contract, and here's the facts. What would be a sufficient percentage? And the app came up and told me 10 to 5%. You follow what I'm saying? But like what I did with the app, and I'll just give you a small example. I took all of the database that was necessary, all of the mandatory books in the federal system and the state system that the prison's mandatory that's there for a defendant to understand what's going on in their case. Then I also took like 8 other different paralegal companies and about 4 different lawyers that I worked with from time to time. I took their database and answering questions and stuff like that. Then I intertwined it also with the internet system to get information and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different, like, for example, I don't know if you're familiar with court listeners.
Sure.
All right. I brought the API system, and that allows me to get in, or to have my clients get into the court documents in the federal system and see what's going on with their cases, see what's happening with the status of their cases, see whether or not the court has received the motions that they filed, and so on.
So it's an extreme checks and balances system for the courts, as well as a app where you can readily ascertain information that you need in case you get in a position with the police.
Right, exactly. Like that was one of my key factors behind it. Like, say for example, you're in a car, you get pulled over, you out of state, you don't have your driver's license, or you have a license to carry, but you don't have a license to carry in that state. Then you can ask the app certain questions, and it'll address the answer to those questions. You know what I'm saying? You know,
possibly like if there was reciprocity, or is there some type of something that they could possibly afford in that interim?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's, man, people need that. That's an app that people definitely need and people can use, and we definitely need that in the hands of more younger people so they can get
most definitely
versed on.
If you look at the majority of people that go to jail, it's because, and when you're talking about going to jail and snitching and telling, it's because at the time that they come into that interaction with the police or law enforcement and they ask certain questions, they don't know what to do. But if they got that phone there and they got that app there, they can just ask the app the questions. I don't know if you got a chance, or if you didn't, if you get a chance to see Expert Opinion with Math Hoffman.
I did watch you on
okay, you see he gave the examples. You see how I gave Math the phone and let Math ask the questions off the top of his head.
I did. I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. I think that's, like I said, I looked at it and I was like, I didn't get all the way in depth in it, but I broached it and I was like, oh, that's something. And now that we're talking about it, I see you giving me additional capabilities of it. It's going to be essential for people.
Not only that, this is the most powerful one. People like, well, once you go into people that's incarcerated, you have so many people that's uneducated that don't know how to write or either actually read. So of course we got the component where you can talk. You don't have to write. You don't have to type nothing in. Just talk to the app, and then the app sends everything back to you orally. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can ask
the app. You can tell the app, listen, I'm in a situation. I'm an inmate. My lawyer hasn't come to visit me. He hasn't been communicating with me. Can you help me with a letter to the judge? That app will draft the letter for you to the judge, how to remove your attorney, and it would also give the judge the laws and the rules that governs that.
To let oh man, that's powerful.
Mhm.
Yeah,
How
no,
long
that's
did it
definitely
take you to come up with that concept?
Well, it took the hardest part was learning the AI system
Right.
and learning how to prompt the AI system.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was once I realized how powerful the AI system was, and it came from a component that Prince was expressing. Remember when you asked Prince the question as far as what were some of the challenges he had getting out of jail? And
Sure.
he mentioned about the supermarket and stuff like that and so
Mm-hmm.
on. Okay, same thing with me. Coming out, I'm going to the airport to buy a ticket. Everything's self-service. I'm not used to that. We're not customized to that, right? And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the app. I realized that, okay, you get there, you get in front of something, you still don't know how to use it. So part of the artificial intelligence, I put instructions that if you don't know certain things, like how do I cut my iPhone off? It'll tell you how to cut your iPhone off. It'll give you the step-by-step instructions. How do I cut my iPhone on? How did I delete something from my iPhone? It goes into it's so broad, you know what I'm saying?
So I see what you did is you made almost like a you seen the book DOS for Dummies or this for Dummies. You made a guide for people to get acclimated to the streets in the new world.
Right, exactly. Without being a burden or being a headache on anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to wake your wife up to ask her a question. You don't have to call your lawyer to ask him that question. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, instead of getting tortured by the cell phone, now you're able to benefit and acquiesce the
Exactly.
powers
Correct.
of the cell phone.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was beneficial, and that was also compassionate, based off of you had been in that situation. You showed compassion in your thought process that you've seen other people that would have go in a situation that you've in, and you put the cushion down there for them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no. We're gonna use it right now, actually. So tell me earlier, I wanted you to ask him about ask the app about the YNW Melly. I want to know more about this.
Listen, what you have to do? Listen, send me another link so I can put it back on my laptop because now we're on the phone. So it's difficult.
Okay.
You understand what I'm
Okay,
saying? I
so
have
we
to go
we
to
could
the
probably
phone.
do it another time. We could do it another time. You know that.
And
Right.
see,
Yeah,
the
no
thing
problem.
about asking AI questions and anything with command lines is the proper syntax.
Correct.
That's what
Proper
I was getting used
syntax
to.
and wording the question in the proper manner that it's going to deliver. Because there's some guidelines and some restrictions that AI won't go through and won't be able to interpret at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Correct.
even with drafting documents, because when the app was on Chat GPT on when I had downloaded it and it was in my phone, I had asked it like I had seen this thing that was on these different credit repairs and stuff that people been talking about, these new forums or whatever, right? And I literally asked the app and can they, pull up a document and make a form and give me a dispute under whatever it was. I forget what it was at the time, so don't get me wrong, please. But when it did it, bro, it pulled up everything and drafted the dispute letter for me and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, the letter itself, people was charging online hundreds of dollars for it.
Right.
That's
And
a
he
fact.
just did it like real fast.
Hey, look, ChatGPT helped me clear my criminal record here in California, and I became a nurse, and I have been to prison twice. So, the power of AI is immense.
Yeah. And then like tell me, he put it together where, because it was a process, right? Tell me that you had to put the AI in tune with certain books, certain literature and stuff like that, right?
Right. Well, see, you got to be able to download that database. You have to be able to research. Well, I'm a good researcher, so you have to be able to research, get the database that's needed. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like one of the things we're about to start doing now is we start to working for other companies and for lawyers, and we're going to create like a database for them. Like say, for example, you got a podcast company. We can create an AI system for you in a podcast company. So when you start to look for topics, you can ask it, for example, what's the most popular topic now? What's the most common questions? And then you can use that as part of your podcast.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And tell me, you didn't get a chance to, he said how you had got involved with I think you entered on the other one, right?
All right, yeah. Listen, that's because I'm trying to do that now from back on. From back on the other one, I'll use the phone for the AI. So if you got any questions, I can let y'all answer the questions.
Okay. Only thing is you gotta.
I'm gonna cut the phone off now.
Well, we can't hear you on the. Try to talk on the laptop.
Okay.
Yeah. See, we still only hear you on the phone.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do this then. You guys probably can find something to talk about for 5 minutes.
Yep.
What I do is I'll put it on my other phone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. Let me see.
Just mute this one up. Yeah, Rich. So like man, something like always, man. When Tommy Walker comes and bless the platform, very powerful messages, and he brought several different guys on before, and spoke on their past, their future, and what was some of the things that stood out the most when Prince was up here to you?
It was just like actually for the first time, it was actually like talking to a real live legend. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you have heard about for years and years and years. We talking to somebody from the Supreme team, one step away from Supreme McGriff. And
Right.
it is. I'm talking to somebody that I've actually done stories on. On my YouTube channel.
You tell me
So
it's back. It's oh no, that's your phone still. Oh, that's your phone.
I
My
was
bad.
talking to somebody that I've done videos on, and I watched him dancing in the video with the bottle in his hand, on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just surreal to talk to somebody like that.
No, for sure, for sure. And then just a person that done 34 years coming home to society now, and like I said, what was some of the things that stood out the most? And he mentioned, self checkout, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing nowadays. They
Yeah,
always
no
used to
question.
complain about Walmart not having enough employees to, why they got a bunch of employees, but nobody at the register. And I think they was the first ones to allegedly, fix that with the self checkout. So that is it's something crazy right there. That's
Check
bigger
this.
than.
Think
Go
about
ahead.
this, Chuck. Getting out of the prison after 34 years, they don't give you your money, your gate money in $200 cash. They give you your money on a credit card.
Okay.
You gotta hop on the
I'm trying to come
public
in on my other
transit.
email. Can
Okay.
hold on 1 second.
So no, we can't hear you right now. Nope.
I wonder, did he hit something? Just how you can hit something on your laptop and mute everything.
All right. Let me just try. Let me cut that one off and just try to go to the phone. The other phone. I'll try to download the app on the other phone.
Okay. Yeah, Rich. That it is crazy. What you were saying that
You
what
get out after 34 years, they give you gate money on a credit card. You got to hop on public transit. You got to slide or buy a credit card or a tap card to get on that. You probably looking at all this shit like this is Buck Rogers or this is Star Wars to some of them.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember growing up, I was very young. The cars they were paper in Chicago, and you would slide in the machine, and it'll pop back out. But I remember though, like 5, 6 years old, when they had like a little paper, and you get on the bus, and they'll use a little punchy thing.
Mm-hmm. Remember all that? Yeah.
Yep,
It was like a transfer.
yep, yep.
So just look at how far the world have came. And if
Sure.
you've been in jail 25, 30 years, the world have changed immensely. People was riding in the back of the trucks at one time. At that time,
Yeah.
you was using a telephone that was a dial in.
Mm-hmm.
You dial it. Brr, brr,
Yeah,
beepers.
landlines were still a big thing. A lot of guys, I'm pretty sure, like him, probably had cell phones, but landline was still a big thing.
Yeah,
Payphones,
landline,
payphones. You can't even find payphones.
beepers. payphones. You know, the world was different, man. You know, TV only had 13 channels.
It's
You know what I'm
crazy.
talking about?
Yeah.
People was listening to cassette tapes when they left, probably.
Yep.
Music coming on cassette tapes. They had just got off of 8 tracks and, you know, left from a whole different other time. Probably wasn't even the same amount of skyscrapers in the sky at the time.
Yeah,
Can you
you're right
imagine
about
coming
that.
back to New York City and looking at the skyline like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Cause you know, even with 9/11, you know what I'm saying? Like shit, a lot has happened.
A lot done changed.
Oh, for sure, man. And
Think about this. It was dope fiends and dope houses and pimps and everywhere riding up and down the streets. Just look at the layout of how the streets have changed. Gentrification then came in. Blacks ain't in so many centralized areas. More foreigners in. It's just a different world.
yeah, no doubt. Anybody on Clubhouse on to chime in? I ain't get you to chime in. On this one, I was gonna do it like in a little bit, but he ended up leaving. But you know, we got a good 40 minutes with Prince, and we still got Tommy Walker in the building, which is
Right.
great.
Listen, I'm gonna go down. My grandson get ready to come down. He's getting ready to download to ChatGPT on my other phone, so I'll be able to do it off the other phone in 1
Okay.
second. Okay. So
Yep.
just bear with me. All right, bro.
Yeah, but anybody on Clubhouse want to chime in? What they thought about that interview?
I thought it was dope. I'm surprised he was able to stay and answer as many questions he did, and I think there was a lot of positivity that came out of it.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Yeah, I think it was definitely positive. You know, and I like what Rich had did at the end, towards the end, was saying we spoke about a lot of the lows, speak about some of the highs, and you know, in the future when we get them back on, we definitely gonna get into that too.
Can you
While you
imagine
wait,
some of the good stories that they got?
Yo, Chuck, while you wait, why don't y'all still pick up the story? So you with the
Oh yeah, the
with the
YNW Melly.
yeah.
Yeah, so YNW Melly, he recently, you know, put out that he was hiring Drew Findling, and to me, I think that's a good look. You know, I don't know if it'll help his situation, but hey, man, like this man, and they talking about he don't go to trial until 2027. At that point, he would have been in jail, I believe, 10 years, and you know, he'd been to trial once last year, and was it last year or early this year? I think it was, yeah, but he went to trial and they ended up being a mistrial, and they got to take it back. And one of his co-defendants actually recently took a plea deal, and I was just curious on him taking that plea deal. Does that interfere with Melly's case when he does go back to trial? Are they going to be able to use, because you know when you take a plea deal, you admit to some sort of guilt, and with that being said, is he going to be able to, or are they going to be able to use that against Melly once he goes back to court? And so Rich, you heard about that YNW Melly, that Bortlen situation, right?
Yeah. I heard a little bit about it. You heard me, Chuck?
Yeah, yep, I hear you. He was that could erase the double murder. So, and this killing actually took place in 2018. Let me pull it up for you. Like, where's that at? So this is from Complex. This is the guy that took the. They said Bortlen was
It was actually October the 26th, 2018.
okay.
Okay. I got a lot of the facts here. I can get to you on it later, and then some of the facts you can ask the Chat GPT. Like that was one of the questions that you did in the beginning. Remember, you asked it about the YNW Melly case.
Yep.
Okay, I got it down on the other phone. So
the main thing that I want to ask is like you know, him changing counsel. Will that be like well, can ChatGPT, can it ask, I mean, not, you know, your app,
well you can ask it and try, you know.
Uh-huh.
And see, this is some of the things that we're doing, and this is why what I'm doing is for 2 months I'm giving out the service for free, because I want people to ask questions. I want to know what it can do versus what it can't do, so we can get together with the designers and the engineers and try to tighten up on it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like some of those questions, like one of the reasons he's changed the lawyers because he felt that it was too many delays in his case, too much going on, and that the lawyers was a part of it, because his lawyers also asked for an extension of delay. He couldn't believe that was going on, because he's been locked up with now for about like 7 years, I think.
Yeah, he's been locked up quite a while, and he went to court. I believe early this year or last year. Yeah, I think it was last year, but they ended up having a mistrial, and he had to bring it back to court. And you're right, so they keep delaying them. Why are they keep delaying them? Is that like
It's the sweat box. You got to remember, his first trial was a mistrial. So they're afraid that if they take him to trial again, they'll lose. Then double jeopardy will prevent them from even trying them again.
Right.
And that's part of the reason that
Do you think they're trying to break him down, like break his will?
But yeah, that's what they do. If you go back to, like you said, you listening to some of the thing that I did with Matt Hoffman on the Expert Opinion, you'll hear that I talk about. I call it the sweat box. What they do is the same situation they put P. Diddy in. They lock you up. They don't give you a bail. They just keep you incarcerated for a ton of time, and after a while, you just get tired. You just want to get back to your regular life.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
So you're like, I'm gonna take a deal.
Right. The uncertainty kills you. You understand what I'm saying? If you remember Young Thug's testimony when he got sentenced, that's what he talked about. I just want to get back to my life, man. I'm tired of this. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was thinking too when you said that.
Right. He sat there in that courtroom for about almost 2 years, going back and forth every day, you know, eating bologna sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Yeah, it is like that. And just, you know, I don't know if did you pull it, but the guy Bortlen, can they use what? Because his lawyer, I think his lawyer came out and said that they can't use his plea deal inside of that trial.
Well, that's what they say. But you got to remember, in the beginning, and a lot of people not aware of it, they were granted a severance, 2 different trials. This is why they offered them a plea. Okay, and listen, the guy was facing 5 life sentences. Okay, and not just 5 life sentences, 5 life sentences and the death penalty. Now they're going to come back and give him 16 years. That's because he's not the target. Melly's the target. You understand what I'm saying? And they're afraid that if he doesn't cooperate, then everybody might walk.
Yeah.
You know, so to give him that, to tell him that you just doing a couple of more years and you out of here, that's difficult for people not to take. You heard Prince said, you can ask Tommy, when they're offering people with life sentences and stuff like that, it's difficult for a man to say he's not going to tell now. That's part of their federal strategy, the mandatory minimum sentences, the life sentences.
Yeah, it's shit, man. I'm just like, wow. And this guy, how do you feel about the guy Drew Findling? Like, I've been seeing him, you know, do a lot of cases, like when it comes to celebrities, and it seems like he gets them a better deal than usual. You think that he'll be able to help in this situation? Just your opinion?
Well, I think, in my opinion, yeah, and I think that Nelly's going to be forced to take a plea, or either he's going to, if he take it to trial. Well, see, he really have nothing to lose, because even if he take a plea, they're going to give him a life sentence, okay? Because the judge has very little discretion in those type of sentencing ranges, okay? And if you heard the plea hearing with his co-defendant, Henry, they told him that all of those sentences was mandatory. and the judge, I mean, not the judge, but the prosecutor dropped all of those mandatory sentences. And one of the stipulations was for him to give a proffer. A proffer means he's going to have to sit there and tell everything he did and everything everybody else did and what happened and how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember that their first defense was that it was a drive-by, it was a shoot, what's it called, a drive-by shooting.
Right.
But the ballistics, it doesn't, the angles of the gunshots, the way they entered the body, the way they entered the car, it's totally, it's impossible for it to have been a drive-by shooting. It matches that the shooting came from the inside of the car.
Wow. Yeah. And so let's exit the app. Is it any updates on Diddy sentencing?
Okay, hold on one second. Let me get it back on. Testing 1, 2, 3. How you doing?
Hey there, I'm doing
Any updates on P. Diddy sentencing?
So as of right now, it looks like Diddy's sentencing is actually set for early October 2025. His legal team is asking for about a 14-month sentence, while the prosecutors want something longer. So we'll probably have a clearer picture once we get to that October date.
Wow. That's clear.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You
Go ahead. I'm
Okay,
trying to listen. Just bear with me because from time to time I have to cut it off because it'll pick up the back tone information and it'll throw it off on the response. But go ahead. What's the question?
I'll get to it on another time.
No, I'm saying.
What's the question?
Okay.
He can ask it. What's the question?
We'll get to it on another time.
What do you say?
What was that question, Rich?
I said we'll get to it on another time.
Okay. Let me see. Is there any update on Lil Boosie sentencing?
Hold on one second. See, hold on. If I get those delays, my phone go off. So, okay. Hold on one second. Hello. Any updates on Little Boosie sentencing?
Absolutely. So here's the scoop on Lil Boosie. He actually pleaded guilty to a federal gun charge back in late August 2025. The prosecutors are recommending about a 2-year prison sentence plus 3 years of supervised release. So it looks like his actual sentencing date is coming up in November 2025. We'll have to see how it all unfolds then.
Now you see how it gives you those details and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and so on.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a subscriber to this app.
Now, if you look at the app, this is why I'm saying the app is not just about law. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, they got
I totally get what you're saying.
Okay. Go
They
ahead.
got a lot of information, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a subscriber because it's gonna be able to help me navigate like when I'm podcasting.
No, not only that, you know what it helps in the podcast?
What is that?
When you get all those people on the podcast is blowing up and telling different stories about what happened, who was there, and this and that.
You can cross-reference them right there on the spot.
It does a fact check right on the spot for you.
Wow. Yep. So tell them again. Tell me how are they able to get this app?
Well, they can download it now, right? But it's not fully developed yet because we're still in the process because we're in the middle of giving it away for free for 2 months. Okay, because we want people to test it out, we want people to use it, get familiar with it, get comfortable with it. Because we figure once they get comfortable with it and see how easy and simple it is and how helpful it is, they're gonna definitely prescribe to it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you could
Do you have a commercial yet?
Excuse me?
Do you have a commercial yet?
You could prescribe to it right now under and register right now. And the only thing you need is a name and an email under paralegalpal.net.
Paralegalpal.net.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna get one.
that's PARALEGAL.net.
Okay. Got you. Yep, I see it right here.
You know, and this and what we're using now is the voice module, which is the highest grade of service that we have there. But like I said, we're going to be offering it up free, but that's not on there right now. But you can, the app will talk to you. It'll type out your answer, put your answer in text. It'll also keep your answers in text. So if you want to email it to yourself or email it to somebody else, you can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I don't want to hold you, Tommy. We definitely got to do this again. I'm actually free this weekend. If you're not doing anything, maybe we can put together something in the next couple of days. See what we can do.
Okay,
But
we could
you got. Go ahead.
we could definitely do that, bro. You know I'm with you, Big Chuck, man.
Yep. I appreciate that, bro. You got anything you want to leave him with that I might have missed?
No, not really. I'm just blessed that my brother Prince came on with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he's really busy. He gave up a lot of his time, and he talked a little bit longer than I thought he would talk. You know what I'm saying? Like the young lady said earlier. You know, happy for it. He's definitely doing positive things, and we're working on. I'm doing a couple of motions now for Supreme. We're trying to get Supreme a new trial on top of that's not just doing a documentary and trying to get Supreme out and hopefully have Supreme join with us and help back. You know, most of these guys, their goal now is to get back to the communities that they took from. You know, some of the communities that they destroyed. You know.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. We definitely had the links. I'm gonna put them in the description as well. Matter of fact, I need to make a post on my community wall. That way it just stay there forever. So y'all can check out the community wall. I think this video is probably like 4,000. It seemed like we've been having a lot more traction later towards the night, but I didn't want to do this too late. So what we'll do is re-release it in probably a couple of hours and then run some more traffic to the video. But man, Tommy, I appreciate you, bro.
No problem, bro.
Salute.
Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome, bro.
Yep.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.